So the Closet Lover started as a brand that sold mainly women's apparels, but as me and my sister started growing a little bit older, we introduced different lines like the men and the kids line, and also different merch items like, for example, home and living. We did like kids diaper changing mats. We also did like kids blankets, and so we do have like a wider range of items right now. We started a website to sell the items, and I think a couple of years after that, we decided to open a retail store so that we can reach out to our customers. And so today we've been close to about 10 plus years in the business, and we have 3 retail stores right now in Singapore as well as 2 in Cambodia. We have about 20 plus full-timers, and we have more part-timers as well because our retail stores require the part-timers. So depending on like season, sometimes we have 40 plus, 50 plus headcounts in total, yeah. We have about 1,000 plus of transactions a month because we have the online store as well as the retail store, and we are like kind of like omni-channel, so our customers are able to shop both online and retail using the same account.
As part of our mission to deliver a seamless omni-channel experience to our customers, we need a platform that can actually integrate all our different solutions together. So the e-commerce platform, POS system, our third-party logistics partner, and last-mile delivery partner, all of them must be able to work seamlessly together and instantly. So I think the biggest problem we had with the old script that integrated our e-commerce platform to our ERP system was just the speed of change. Any new variable could potentially break the script, and you need to spend a lot of time, effort, and money to make sure that everything runs smoothly. What you really need in a high-growth organization is really just to have a platform that is very simple to understand and simple to use, initiate, and innovate. So Point Star Consulting provided top-notch customer support to us. They were there before, during, and after the whole implementation of Workato. We had a lot of fun with the team through all the discussions, which were always relaxed and easy. And it was never too difficult to understand, and all the things that we were discussing, it was never frustrating trying to create the whole process on Workato. Yeah, so Point Star Consulting has definitely delivered stellar customer service to us with its broad range of expertise in implementing automation solutions to high-growth businesses. So the benefits from the implementation of Workato are manifold. Workato's robust integration capabilities has allowed us to easily integrate all the different partners together. The e-commerce platform, POS, 3PL, and a last-mile delivery partner, they're all now integrated with our cloud ERP. What this actually means is that the moment an order comes through from the customer, it can be processed immediately by our 3PL partners without any manual intervention from us. So with all that, we have experienced a 25% increase in customer satisfaction as a direct result of the improved speed and accuracy of fulfillment. We have also managed to reduce excess inventory by 30% through all these integrations.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. How are you? Hope you all are well. My name is Ayu, and I'll be your host for today's webinar. On behalf of Windsor Consulting and Workato, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to all of you, as we have an exciting agenda lined up for you today. We'll explore how to achieve a unified tech stack through Workato's automation of solutions, allowing you to break down data silos, learn how to seamlessly connect your various applications, and eliminate data bottlenecks. And secondly is to embrace automation mindset shift your perspective to identify opportunities for automation across your workflows. That is what we want you guys to get to have an insight to develop systems thinking, gain a holistic view of your processes and how they can optimize your automation. Okay, we will kick off with an introduction from William as our director at Forrester Consulting, followed by a detailed presentation by Joseph Yo, our system integration consultant. During the presentations, if you have any questions, please start to type them into the Q&A box. After the presentations, we will open the floor for a Q&A session and our speakers can answer it. We will be giving away a few exciting prizes for the best questions. And we will also have a feedback survey form for you to scan first from now. As you can see on the screen right now, our team is sharing the QR codes for you to scan first from now, but you can fill out after all the speakers' presentation. As we will be having another lucky draw before the end of the webinar for the participants that completed the feedback survey form. So stay tuned. Okay, without further ado, let me introduce our first speaker, William, Director at Forrester Consulting, as he will be sharing some valuable insights about the challenges CDOs, CIOs, and heads of IT face today, and how automation and integration can address these challenges as we head into 2025. Hi, William.
Hello, sorry, I everyone, we're up to everyone that is attending this webinar.
Okay, I think William, you are free to go, so the floor is yours.
Okay. Can you verify whether everyone can see you?
Yes, Ken.
Okay,
It's all clear.
right.
Okay.
So again, I think a quick introduction for those that have not known us. Again, Pointstar, we were established back in 2008, and we are aiming to be, one of the leading financial digital transformation company in Asia Pacific. We are partnering with a few solutions around the world, and these are, some of the leading enterprise cloud solutions. So, like Oracle NetSuite, Blackline, Google, and Workato. This come back to, um, our belief back when we established the company that cloud would be the go-to solutions in the futures, right? And has seen we was established in Singapore back then, and we were able to expand throughout the Asia Pacific. Now with presence almost in entire Southeast Asia and East Asia countries. So I want to go into the next one. I think up to now we have completed about 500 projects so far. I think we have about 250 customers. A lot of them are very happy with us, fortunately. And everyone know in the cloud space we have to provide our customers our best services because our renewal rate, right, our returning customer would be our KPI of how well we are doing as a company. So you can see here, we have more than 90% return customers. I think we probably more than 15 years now since 2008. And then throughout our years of selling multiple system, we have achieved nearly 33 awards and certifications. Again, I mentioned here we have as a point star consulting, we partner with four global vendors, leading vendors, including what we're going to discuss today, Workato. And these are some of other solutions as well. As a company, we believe that we want to offer a one-stop solution for our customers. It's quite common for our customers to be, our customers in many other part of the business as well, including hardware as well as software. So today we will be talking about Workato in general. So what we are seeing here, you look at how Workato put ourselves, as integration-led automations. In the past, integration, it's a word that people have been using for many years. However, what we are seeing with Workato, there's a new way to build not just integration but automation as well. And the reason is because there's a growth in multiple cloud applications around the world. Nowadays, you can see there's a lot of multiple CRM solutions, multiple project management solutions built on cloud. That's a lot of different. You are talking about data lakes, right? You're talking about different machine learning solutions, AI or whatnot. So what we are seeing here, the needs for a smart integration and automation becomes much more important. But at the same time, I think people recognize that a cloud solution will be the best because they enable them to focus on what they do best instead of maintaining the system, right? So what you're looking here, it's basically how the new paradigm of how a leading company are actually putting together, integrating multiple system is quite common for some of customers to have more than 10 systems that they run over over the operations. It could be ERP, it could be payroll system, it could be procurement system, or it could be if you're an e-commerce company, obviously your own platform for the e-commerce. This is how we see Workato as a company provide a solution that we feel are very powerful, and it could help transform how your businesses would be going, would be expanding, right? In fact, Workato has been recognized as a leader. I think a lot of you probably are very familiar with Magic Quadrant. Oracle has been recognized as the leaders in this space. It has been named for 6 consecutive years of as a leaders, and that's just a testament of how strong and how committed is Workato to develop the product. Again, now, just before we start, so we have Avocado works with some of the leading consultants such as Goldman Sachs, to basically, and McKinsey to basically come up with what they call a work automation index. And this is a report, and we highlighted into 5 points today. And I think the first that summary of the discussion that they have, the market leaders with the leading companies, what they find out is that, as anyone else here, AI trend, right? Now we are looking at how we can use AI to impact on the revenue operations, right? And what we are seeing here now, there's almost 500% growth, right, in AI endpoint. Of course, I think AI only represents about 1% of overall company spend on IT, but we are seeing that growing really rapidly, right? I think at this moment of time, a lot of companies are still trying to gauge with the explosion of AI tools. What are the best tools for me to use, and how do I integrate it into my operations, right? And then, of course, we're seeing about 400% growth in processes with generative AI steps, right? You will probably start seeing these trends even in our day-to-day life, right? You probably have seen some emails coming in that is, you feel like, hey, this could have been written by a real person, but a lot of them are actually written by AI. So what we are saying that a lot and more people actually using AI to help catapult their revenue operations, right? And number two, we're also seeing that now IT roles are no longer concentrated on just IT people. I think a lot of solutions nowadays come out with what they call, low code, no code, easy to use, and they're targeting the business users, right? Where business users in the past probably suffer a little bit because, IT obviously have a bottleneck with so much request. Nowadays, I think what we are seeing that a lot of application, a lot of AI or whatnot, enable the split of role of IT responsibility between the business users and IT users. It has growth exponentially, right? So I think what we are seeing here, there are more and more business users getting involved in some kind of IT activities, right? Such as generating, low code, no code processes, and which is what Workato do, right? In fact, in Workato, you need more business users, not IT, right? Because what they want to do is really enable the business users to take this responsibility, right? And of course, that will help them to be much more pivotal whenever they needs arise for them to look at different processes. And then the point number three is that what they find out is that there are more and more complex processes. There's almost two times of more high complexes, right? And what we are seeing is very example, right? We have a customers in that focusing in streaming, video streaming, right? Whereby they have a payment portal, they have their own front end application. They have the ERP as well. How do you connect this, right? I mean, gone are the day because these are literally small transactions. They have probably millions of customers. How do you process those that subscribe and then at the same time be able to link to a payment gateway to confirm the subscription at the same time push it to the ERP to do to capture the invoice and subsequently do the revenue management. So what we are seeing is that nowadays, because of the explosion of applications that are there in the market, and people nowadays truly believe in the best of breed, they're not going to stick to one brand for everything. What we are seeing that now more and more companies trying to see how they can actually take advantage of these different application, how they can actually connect them together. And that's where Workato's strength is, how we can actually work with multi-branching or even multi-data source automations to be able to connect different systems, data enrichment, even connecting to AI, right? And of course, a lot of these processes, what you're seeing is that it's concentrated around customer of employee experience, because that's what I mean, of course, customers it's a very I would say it's yeah, I mean, it's a real case, right? You want to use automation to be able to reach out to more customer, improve the customer experience, make it more seamless. So definitely, the area of improvement will be around the customer, but also employee experience, right? How we can improve employee retention, employee satisfaction, because by the end of it, they are the one that drive the company revenue, right? They are the one that engaging the customers. They want tools that enable them to be more proactive, to be more a business analyst instead of data entry personnel, right? So what we're saying here, the biggest growth is probably customers support, right? Then of course the next one, what you're saying is that data operation, how we can actually capture data, process it, and make it into a meaningful data format that we management can definitely use. So there's a lot more. I think what we say is that the trend, there are more and more department and company trying to catch this wave of automation, and this is where do talk to us. I think we can offer you a lot of different insight on some of our experience dealing with some of our customers that are very complex in natures. And then, of course, last but not least, the data strategy trend. Right? If you're looking at it, data operation actually, they're probably undergoing a record growth. Like, I mean, there was discussions last time. There was an article of how much terabyte of data was added every day, right? And these data points means nothing if you don't have a way to actually process it. That's where the data operation coming in. Data come in, then you have to process it, you have to enrich it, and you have to do subsequent activities in order to make that data meaningful, right? Be it a transformation or summarizing, whether you are using solutions, a data lake solution, a machine learning solution. Basically, what we are seeing here with this data growth, company want to take advantage of it, making sense of this data point and be able to make decisions objectively. And this is where another area whereby what we are seeing, a lot of customers come to us, especially in the automation space, and want to say, hey, how do I make sense of this data? How I can use Workato to do data transformations, right? Do data analytics, right? Push it into whatever data analytics devices application that you have, like for example Tableau or ClickView, like those kind of things. This is where we've been helping a lot of our customers taking advantage of this really massive and rich data that they can use, right? So yep, that's basically what I think what I will mention here. I mean, if you guys want to have access to this report, more than happy to share with you. But we are seeing here there are more and more companies trying to look at ways to basically work with automation tool to, of course, number the revenue, and number two, to basically enable them to lower the bottom line, right? By making sure that there's no expenses spent on non-added value for the employees. They want the employee to be more business analysts, be able to take responsibility on running a day-to-day operation from strategic point of view in terms of a data entry point of view. So that's from me. Appreciate. I think this I'm gonna pass it back to Ayu. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to put it in the chat. If I can, I'll try to answer it. Otherwise, I'll pass it back to you, Ayu.
Okay. Thank you, William, for those insights. Okay. Yeah. If there is any questions, guys, don't hesitate to start to type them into the Q&A box. As after the second speaker, we can open the floor for the Q&A session, and our speakers can answer it. Okay. So now, before we move on to our next session, I would like to remind everyone to scan the QR code on your screen. So I believe now it's already shared by our team. Yes, there you go. The feedback survey form, there is a QR code there where you can scan it from now and fill out the feedback survey form after the speaker session, as we will be giving away a lucky draw session before end of the webinar. So stay tuned. And I would like to also inform everyone that there will be also a special offer for all participants to be informed by the next speaker. Okay, so now we move on to our next speaker here, Joseph Yeo, as he will be diving deeper into how automation opportunities can be identified and implemented in your business using Workato. So yeah, hi Joseph, are you there?
Yep, I'm here. Yeah, thanks, I am.
Okay, I think your audio can be increased a bit.
Is it a bit better?
Um,
No.
already full, yeah?
Yeah, it's really full.
Okay. Now it's clear. Okay, I think you already good now. So over to you, Joseph.
Okay, there we go. Yep. So thanks everyone for coming to this webinar. Yeah. So for my session, there's a couple of points that I'd like to go through. So William previously has briefly introduced Workato. So what I'll do is, I'll start off with going a bit more in depth on what Workato does as a product by going through some of its capabilities before, be giving out some pointers on how you might want to identify potential opportunities for automation in your organization. And finally, I'll be going through several use cases from customers that have utilized Workato, and I'll just share a bit on the experiences that we've had with these customers. Yeah. So let me move on. Yeah, so Workato capabilities. Like I mentioned, I'll be sharing a bit more on what the product side of Workato looks like and consists of. Yeah. So when it comes to Workato, we'll usually bring up the few features that you're seeing on your screen. So we'll start off from the left-hand side, iPaaS. So, Workato is advertised as an iPaaS product. It's a cloud platform solution. So everything happens within a browser itself. and there's no need for your organization to download or maintain any infrastructures. You don't need to maintain any web servers and all that. And basically, the whole infrastructure is hosted on the cloud on AWS. Yeah, so that's the first one. For the second main feature, we're talking about ETL and ELT interactions. You know, we have customers that require processing of hundreds of thousands or perhaps even millions of transactions. Workato has built-in ETL and ELT functionalities to help aid in these data transformations and data loading. Yeah. Thirdly, Workato specializes, I would say, in API management. So what Workato can do, Workato workflows can act as API endpoints for other applications to call on. So that would mean that there might not be a need for the organization to have API specialists to build APIs anymore, as you're able to just utilize Workato's workflows to build API with its no codes options. And of course, you're able to manage all these different APIs within the single Workato platform that you have. Fourthly, we have Workato automations, workflow automations. Now, of course, when it comes to integration and automation, this would be the most sought after feature, the actual workflow itself. So Workato is able to handle simple direct workflows to more complex workflows that requires, let's say, a set of conditions or rules to be followed. I'll expand a bit more on the workflow automation itself on the next slide. But lastly, we'll talk about the conversational bots first. Now, when it comes to conversational bots, I believe that this really sets aside Workato from other iPaaS platforms. So what workbots are is basically we're able to configure workbots from Slack or Microsoft Teams and basically have the end user interact with Slack or Microsoft Teams to trigger workflows, automate processes. So that's just a general gist of what a conversational bot is. Of course, there are many other functionalities that might apply to your company's needs as well. But I would say that the five that you see on the screen really cover the most common use cases that are required by customers. Yeah. So, like I mentioned before, workflow automation is really the most common feature. For the basis of any integration/automation solution, I would say the baseline is really the workflow engine itself, which is what you are seeing on the screen right now. Yeah. So what's on your screen right now is basically a sample workflow, and in Workato we call it a recipe. At first glance, looking at the diagram, you might notice that the steps that you see on your screen really comes in a very natural language, a very human readable language. Yeah. So this is one of the more important selling points of Workato. Since we are promoting the concept of citizen developers, we want the actual workflows and actions to be easily understandable by someone that perhaps might not be too technical. For example, most of the customers we are working with are finance teams or let's say operation teams, which they might not have a technical background behind them. So yeah, one selling point of Workato is really the human readability of the workflow itself. And of course, on the left and right hand side of the screen, you do have several different pointers as well. So Workato triggers our event base. So of course, for any workflow, you're able to identify whether you want like a scheduled trigger or perhaps you would like a more real-time sync. These are all options available for Workato. Secondly, you have smart connectors. So these connectors allow for auto deduping and ensure that data is delivered in sequence and ensures that data isn't lost through whatever means. Yeah. Point three, connecting to anything. So how Workato works is it connects to a backend API. So as long as the application that you would like to connect to has an API, you are really able to use Workato to connect and create integrations and automations. So this really includes, cloud-based applications, on-prem databases, microservices, as you can see. Yeah. And the next point, powerful workflows. So, of course, as system integrators, we understand that business processes might not always be simple, and there might be perhaps several conditions or perhaps several rules that we need to follow. So what Workato supports is, it's able to support branching, it's able to support looping, and if your workflow requires, let's say, a very robust error handling mechanism, Workato is also able to support that logic. Yeah. And finally, of course, we have low code or enterprise grade solutions. So Workato, it's we're talking about instant deployment, we're talking about scalability. So these are things that really makes it enterprise grade. Yeah. Okay. So now that I've given you a brief overview on what Workato as a product is, you might be thinking, this sounds interesting. How do I go about, seeing if there's an opportunity for my organization to really streamline and automate certain processes? Yeah. So one of the first questions that a user might have, a prospect might have, is where do I start? And the tip that we give is always start from what you're familiar with, which is your existing business processes. You know, just to give you an example, perhaps your finance team is spending multiple days every month compiling some Excel data, or perhaps you have a few full-time employees manually updating IT tickets. These are all potential workflows that could exist in our current flow and could very well be automated using Workato. Usually we will see companies who are just starting on their digitization journey to look out for areas that they can optimize. And really looking at existing workflows is a really good starting point to see if there's any opportunities for automation. And of course, at the end of the spectrum, you have companies who are perhaps well on their way on their digitization journey, and perhaps they would like to have new workflows based around more advanced data analytics and data visualization tools. This is also a possibility for Workato. Yeah, and of course, the examples that I mentioned are really just very brief examples, and we understand that every company might have differing requirements based on their business practices. Yeah. Okay, so now perhaps you've identified a list of potential business flows that can be automated. So the next course of action would be to select one to start. This is where we really need to prioritize what workflows we should start on first. We had examples of customers bring us a huge list of workflows, and we always start off by asking the customer which workflow brings the most impact in terms of time saving and cost savings. Just to give an example, perhaps a customer brings us two different workflows, a very complex workflow that perhaps take 2 hours a month to complete, and the other workflow which might take a lot less time, let's say 20 minutes, but it's being done every day. So, in this situation, it will be more cost savvy, and it'll definitely save more time if we were to implement the less complex flow first. So this is something that we have to keep in mind when dealing with when deciding to prioritize the workflows that you have. And another factor that you might want to consider is the feasibility of automating the workflow that you've proposed. I do have customers that come to us and give us a set of requirements, and only to have it change every other day. We don't really want to automate such a process. We understand that in business nothing's ever constant, but in terms of automation, we want to start off with something that's more stable to really show the true value of having automation within the organization. Yeah, and of course, when it comes to expansion, you have to ask yourself if there's room for expansion. iPaaS products like Workato are, I would consider, a long-term investment and not a single-use product. We want to be able to grow with the organization and not just be utilized for a single use case isolated in some department somewhere. Yeah. So it's really good to keep in mind these few pointers when you're looking out for integration and automation opportunities. Yeah. So perhaps at this point of time, I'd like to share a few use cases from Workato customers and perhaps a bit on how these companies have utilized Workato for their organization. Yeah. So I guess I'll start off with a more well-known company, Grab. Yeah. So Grab, I believe most people here would know that Grab, it's a huge company that is growing very fast, or perhaps was growing very fast, and in the stage of their hyper growth, not only did they have a huge influx of, let's say new delivery drivers, ride sharing drivers, but also a huge demand in individual teams to meet the growing demand. Yeah. So with the influx of employees, of course, the IT and people teams had much higher volumes to process. And instead of hiring full-time employees to do this repetitive work, what they did was they approached Workato in order to automate their employee onboarding process. So essentially, what they did was they utilized Slack as a chat ops hub to basically automate these onboarding processes for new hires. So basically, they're using the Slack chatbot to perhaps grant system access to new employees, so on and so forth. So as you can see on the right hand side, based on the results within the first few months itself, they've really saved about 3,000 hours. And of course, yeah, if you can read the last point there, compared to building automations with traditional coding, by utilizing Workato, they actually save, I would say, 90% of the development time. So it really drives the point of quick development turnover. Yeah. So the next example that I'd like to go through would be the closet level. So for those that came in earlier in this presentation, you might have seen a video on the closet level team describing how Workato has changed their business. So perhaps just to give a bit of background, when the closet level, okay, yeah, just a bit of background. The closet level is a retail fashion store in Singapore. And when they approached us, they had several point-to-point technical automations that were consistently breaking down, and due to that, transactional data was actually being lost as their demand and their sales grew. So a lot of manual intervention was required in order to tackle this issue. So how Workato came in to bring value to them was that what we did was we basically replaced the existing integrations with Workato integrations, which in turn, solved their scaling issue. And a good thing about that is during the process itself, they also identified several new workflows that would make things easier for them as well. So, they came in with a problem. They went out with not only a solution for their problem, but a solution for other issues as well. Yeah. And one point that I'd like to bring up for the closet level as a team is, yeah, they do not have a huge ID team. During the implementation process with them, I was really just interacting with the finance and operations team. So, yeah, and the last I checked in with them, they've actually taken up the citizen development role and actually built several different workflows by themselves. So yeah, like I mentioned, this really drives the point of citizen developers and how anyone without a technical background can actually build and utilize Workato to build automations and integrations. And lastly, the last use case would be Biopack. Yeah, so Biopack is a sustainable packaging company, and yeah, they were facing challenges of document processing. So they're dealing with hundreds of, perhaps thousands of orders being processed weekly, and currently they were doing it very manually, and each order was taking up a lot of time. So how Workato gave value in this was, they connected dot parser with the NetSuite ERP system through Workato, and Workato is able to automatically process and pass whatever documents coming in and sync that data straight into NetSuite. And of course, the results being lots of time saved, eliminating the manual processing of documents for full-time employees to focus on higher value tasks. Yeah. So from these three different use cases that I've briefly gone through, we are really able to see the following points. You know, innovation of speed. In the case of Grab, they were not only able to implement but achieve results within the few months of utilizing Workato. And I would say that this is really unheard of in more traditional IT implementation, where it might take perhaps half a year or even a full year to complete development and implementation. And we're moving on to scalability. So, like the closet level, they were dealing with unscalability of point-to-point integration. Yeah. So with Workato, we are really able to drive the point that we're able to scale their business efficiently to ensure that all their processes run smoothly. And of course, high composability. You know, Workato as a product supports over 2,500 applications out of the box. And when it comes to applications, we do understand that applications go through updates, they go through system upgrades as well. And the good thing about Workato is for any of these upgrades, Workato will be the one handling the upgrades and updates of the systems. And end users for Workato will not have to worry about automations breaking, let's say due to a system upgrade, for example. Yeah. So, I hope that in the last few slides, you've understood a bit more on the power of Workato and perhaps how some of our customers have utilized and gained benefit from it. Yeah. So for the next steps, we'd like you to think if such an offering could be useful in bringing about, let's say, automation opportunity. And if so, Pointstar would like to offer a free assessment. So yeah, what we could do is, you could contact us using the QR code on the screen. And what we could do is we could give you a preliminary IT assessment on how you might utilize Workato in your day-to-day processes, as well as perhaps discover new opportunities in utilizing Workato. Yeah. And of course, for the more if you do have specific use cases in mind and would like a more in-depth discussion, perhaps a platform overview or catered demo session, please feel free to approach us as well using the link. So I'll leave this QR code on the screen for now. I'll hand the time back to you.
Okay. Thank you, Joseph, for your really detailed presentation. Appreciate it. So, yeah, as Joseph mentioned here, as you can see still on your screen, I would like to inform again the special offer only for these webinar participants only. So, you will entitled to get a free 1 hour ID assessment with our experts, as we can help you identify automation opportunities and give suggestions on how to optimize your ID setup to facilitate seamless integration and peak performance. If you are interested with this good opportunity, you may check to our website as well on the page of Contact Us, or simply just type it now in our Q&A box. Just type interested so our team can reach out to you after this webinar. Okay? All right. So now we move to the next session, to the Q&A session. As we now have some time for questions and answers, as I see here, there are a few questions that giving out from the attendees. Yeah, so let's start with our first question. Probably Joseph can stay there, and William can also join together with me and Joseph to stand by also. Please turn on your camera. So yeah, I will read the first question from Bukhari Muslim. Uh, the question would be, is the Workato automation more robust on the Google Workspace environment, or the experience also the same in the O365 environment? So probably this question I will share to William to answer.
Um, Yeah, let me see again. Wakata more robust and Google Flow are experienced the same in. I'm not sure. I'm presuming this is a Power Automate. I assuming. Google Workspace don't. I mean, Workato doesn't have to work with any of these environment, right? Because Workato is have. I'm not sure. Let me just try to answer it. If it is a Power Automate, then I think the experience of Workato is definitely much better than Power Automate, right? That's what we are seeing in the past. That's why the reason why, of course, Power Automate is a much cheaper solutions compared to Workato. But again, the differences in its approach, whereby Workato are more enterprises compared to Power Automate. Um, in relation to if whether Workato automation more robust on Google Workspace, I'm not really sure what's the answers about, but I'm just trying to answer it. Again, Workato can work with any system. It can work with it can work with Office 365. It can work with with Google Workspace. There's no, I wouldn't say, if the question is about how easy it is to integrate, I don't think there's any difficulty. Both solutions come out with a pretty robust API, and I think I say Workato has built integration to both to both Google Workspace and also to Microsoft Office 365 with that answers.
Yeah, so maybe I could just add on there. So, like William mentioned, when it comes to Workato, there's really no difference between whether we are connecting to Google Workspace or Microsoft 365. So the thing is, um, as long as we have APIs available, we're able to connect to it. So perhaps we'll like to give a more side-by-side comparison. So Workato is able to connect to Excel, Word documents, as well as on the Google side, it's able to connect to Google Sheets, Google Docs. So yeah, these are just some of the comparisons that you might want to look out for. So I would say that as long as the API allows for it, Workato is able to connect to it, be it Google Workspace or Office 365.
Okay, I see. Hope that will be answering your questions. Bukhari Muslim, you can type on your Q&A box if you still have anything that you want to ask. If not, so let's move to the next questions. So this one is coming from Aji Supriyatno. He's asking for about making data meaningful to be used. Can you elaborate on how we utilize AI to make our data meaningful? Especially, what is the best practice to do that in enterprise environment that already has so many data that tangled each other? So, yeah, probably Joseph can help to answer.
Okay, for this, of course, when it comes to data, we have to ensure that we want to have an idea on what the endpoint of the data, uh, what the endpoint you would like to achieve when processing the data. And of course, that should be the highest priority when it comes to managing data. Yeah. So, of course, for bigger enterprises where we understand that data could be tangled, could be very messy, to put it simply. I would say that when it still is in the onus of the organization to actually um, ensure that data is clean before we build any automations and integrations to it. Yeah, so I do have some customers that came in with very messy data, and they did have the endpoint in mind, but what happened was a lot of development time was spent actually untangling this data, and of course that led to increase in the timeline, extended timelines due to this tangled data. So um, yeah, if your endpoint is really to utilize data to to create, let's say, an end product, we really need the organization to untangle that data as much as possible before we proceed on to this automation or integration journey. I don't know, William, do you have any inputs on this? Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Hope that will be answering your questions. Yeah. Aji Supriyatno. So yeah. Let's. So I will read another questions here. I think this one also goes to you, Joseph. It's coming from Sakib Ansar. He's questioning about the, yeah, since it utilizes AI, is the AI data stored publicly, or is the AI learning isolated from other instance or company?
Okay. So in terms of Workato, how AI is used is um, currently I believe it's being used in the co-pilot development. So for example, if you would like to build a workflow, Workato provides like a prompt to build the actual workflow. So when it comes to the data itself, unfortunately, I'll have to uh, yeah, I think we'll have to talk to the Workato team to see exactly how it works in the back end. Yeah, so if you're really interested in this, perhaps you could drop us a message or drop Workato a message directly. Yeah.
Just want to add, Workato itself, we are not an AI platform, but we connect with a lot of AI application. But again, when you talk about AI in general, there's so many AI. What we are seeing is here is now an explosion of generative AI, right? I think in this space, generative AI is probably be a bit harder to walk through because generative AI, you can either do a data mining on your existing data that you upload, or it could be sitting on a public instance, right? So there's no, I don't think, yeah, I mean the data can be stored publicly or privately. No problem. It's really depend on what's the use case. If it is for you to generate, say, if you are talking about generative AI in general, if you are talking about an ERP application, it'd be like, for example, writing out to your customers to remind them of the payment. For example, that could use AI, generative AI to write it up so that it probably be a bit more personal. But yeah, I think AI learning, it can come with a lot of different things. I mean, it used to be called machine learning with data, but now people like to call it AI. The I think if you look at it, right, the core of it still remain pretty much the same. And I think what differentiate now is pretty much the generative AI, I would say.
Okay. Yeah, hope that answering your questions. So actually the next question is I think quite related that just William shared. So probably this one would be to William, and Joseph can add on afterwards. So the question's coming from Shannon Lee. Can Workato be connected with Google Workspace, Zendesk, iViva, and ERD? Yeah, probably Joseph or Williams first can answer this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think anything with API can be connected with Workato, right? No
Yeah.
problem at all.
Mhm.
I think Zendesk is work on their cloud-based, so I'm pretty sure they have API that we can register with Workato. Same with with Google. I'm not sure about Eviva. I'm not sure whether it was Aviva or Eviva. I'm not sure, but we can look it up. I mean, the answer is that as long as it has an API connectivity, we can connect to that. Maybe you want to add, Joseph, I don't know what that's the.
yeah, so when it comes to connectivity to different applications, we usually categorize it into different aspects. So there is the out-of-the-box connectors and connectors that are not readily available. So out-of-the-box connectors are connectors that Workato already built out of the box. So for example, Google Workspace, the Microsoft 365 suites, these are products that Workato has already built out of the box connectors to. So all we have to do is to go in there, click on the option, and we have the integration. For perhaps less known applications, or perhaps in-house built applications that are perhaps not well known in the industry. So yeah, like William mentioned, all we need is an API connection. So as long as there's an API available, Workato is able to tap on it and call the APIs lah. Yeah, so I would say, yeah, as long as there's an API, we are able to connect to it.
I see. Okay. So yeah. Mm, there's a few more questions, yeah. William and Joseph, hang on there. Yeah, the next question is coming from Opik Hidayat. I think this suitable to Joseph to answer. Um, in terms of integration, I believe that Workato is a robotic process automation. What is our advantage using this compared to building API by ourselves?
Okay. Yeah, thanks for the question. So, when it comes to Workato, there are distinct differences from RPA. So, I do have an RPA background in developing UiPath as well. So, the thing is, when it comes to RPA, you're dealing with, let's say, screen scraping and all that. When it comes to Workato, we're dealing with really just API related work. Yeah, and the thing is, within Workato, building API is one of the features. The more common usage would be actually tapping and calling on the APIs of other applications. Yeah. So yes, of course, you can continue to build APIs by yourselves, but of course, when it comes to the actual automation itself, we do have customers that have custom built APIs that perhaps are not robust enough in handling scalability. And perhaps, for some applications, I don't know, for example, SAP, where, concurrency is an additional cost. So these are things that, separates building a point-to-point integration between utilizing Workato. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
William, you want to add on your thoughts from this point?
No, I think these are a bit technical. I think
Technical, yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay, this one I think for you, William, coming from Sandy. Where are the first steps a company should take when adopting an automation mindset, William?
yeah, I think I mean the first step obviously identifying the issues, right? I think it's very simple. You can embark on a new initiative because you have a pain around there, or you see opportunity to improve, right? And of course, when we are talking about automation mindset, we need to look at. I always believe uh, in people, whether it's customers or employees, right? How we can make it a much better experience to them, right? What area that we can make it much more seamless with automation. So I guess now the first step is really, try to understand where's the priority lies, in terms of customers and employee engagement. And because that's going to be proven to be the main driver, right? When you go into management, say, hey, this is something that I think can improve the employee experience or the customer experience, right? And then once you identify that, then you can look at a way of, how to build this automation in place. And that's normally, how you will start your automations.
Okay. Yeah, Sandy, hope that will be answering your questions. All right. I think this would be the last questions, and I think I will share it with Joseph to answer. Coming from Faris. So yeah, he's asking about how long does it typically to see the results after implementing a unified tech stack with Workato.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, thanks for the question. So yeah, for this, it really depends on the workflow that you are wanting to automate. So I do have customers that have a single workflow to automate, but brings out a huge value, and we were able to go live within 2 weeks. 2 weeks of actually, from the start. We have a kickoff meeting, and 2 weeks later, we have gone live with it. Yeah, so it really ranges from workflow to workflow. So we have ranges from 2 weeks all the way to larger projects that perhaps might take multiple months. Yeah. But on an average, we would say that each workflow depend on each workflow at the average complexity level will take around 3 weeks to deploy.
I see. Okay. All right. Yeah, I think that's all the questions that I already read. And actually, we have already selected the best questions that are entitled to get a special gift by Pointstar Consulting. So, yeah, I will announce. So, congratulations, Sakip and Opik. Yeah, Sakip and Opik, congratulations. Both of you are winning the best questions and entitled to get our special gift. Our team will contact you to redeem your gift after this webinar. Okay, nah, since our speakers are still here, let's take a photo together. You can still turn on your camera, William and Joseph, and also the rest of attendees are here. If you are comfortable, let's turn on your camera and we can take a photos together. Whenever you're ready, I will count it down. Team are ready to take photos? Nice. I see there. Hello, Bukhari. How are you? Hi, Opik. Hi, Reggie. Oh, nice to see you. And I think not coming from Indonesia here because Pointstar Consulting always would like to consistently doing this webinar, right? And we will do across the region. So moving forward, of course, the participants are coming from Indonesia, Thailand, Singapore. So yeah, would love to see you guys for our future events and webinars. Okay, so I think everyone is already. So on my count, yeah. Okay, team ready, yeah, to take photo. On my count, 3, 2, 1, smile. Yeah, I think there's no sound. It's okay. Yeah, just imagine there's a photo sounds here. One more time, guys. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Got it. Yeah. One more time. So yeah. On my count again. 3, 2, 1. Cheers. Yeah. I think. Yeah. I think that's about it. Yeah. You can turn off your camera again. Yeah. Okay. So I will move on to the next session. Yeah. This is actually your last chance to fill out the feedback survey form for a chance to win some great prizes. Again, so many special gift, yeah, from Pointstar Consulting for every webinars and events. So yeah, as you can see on your screen right now, there is a QR code. So it's easy. You just scan it using your mobile phone, right? And there is a Google form that you can fill out because we will announce after this session there is a lucky draw that we will announce for another special gift from Pointstar. So just scan it. I will give a time for you to scan it and to fill out the feedback survey form. Okay, I will please team to make this survey form still there as I will read a quick summary of today's session. Yeah. Okay. So from today's webinar, we have explored the key challenges faced by IT leaders today, the role of automation in overcoming these challenges, and how Workato can be a game changer in driving efficiency and growth. Our first speaker, William, our director of Pointstar Consulting, already provided an insightful overview of Pointstar Consulting and Workato, highlighted the critical pain points for CDOs, CIOs, and heads of IT, and discussed the upcoming business trends and challenges in 2025, backed by data from leading industry sources. And our second speaker, Josefio, took us through the practical aspects of identifying and implementing automation opportunities within your business using Workato, illustrated with compelling case studies showcasing the platform's capabilities. IT is evolving into a player coach role. 56% of automations are still built by IT personas, but IT is also being tasked with governance and guidance for the 44% handled by business teams. Business team automation activity is at an all time high. Business teams are on the verge of a majority, and in 2024, we expect to see the scale steep thanks to generative AI. By a sizable margin, business operations roles are the largest group automating work in 2024. 27.7% of business operations and 18.8% of IT operations roles combined make up 46.5% of all automation work. By the end of the day, the summary would be everyone is automating their work regardless of technical skill. The new era of AI, IT maintains a slim majority of all automation, but business teams have taken on an enormous share of the workload that just 5 years ago would have been unimaginable. So, yeah, I think that's the summary of today's webinar. So, I would like to ask the team, is the wheel of spin is ready to roll? Okay, good. Oh, wow. Hopefully, there are a few names there that you already fill out the feedback survey form. So, finger crossed. Okay, so yeah, and now the moment you've all been waiting for. Let's spin the wheel, guys, and see who the lucky winner is. Oh, okay. Congratulations, Cristianto. Congratulations, you are the lucky winner. Okay, so congratulations, Cristianto. Our team will contact you after this webinar so you can redeem your special gift by Pointstar Consulting. All right, I think all the special gifts already shared with you and all of the insightful informations about Pointstar Consulting and Workato already given to you guys. So yeah, I think that's all for today's webinar. Thank you all for joining us today. We hope you found the session really insightful and valuable, and don't forget to check our website, www.pointstar-consulting.com, and connect with us on our social media. We have LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. You have to follow, yeah? And stay tuned for more exciting webinars and events in the future. I'm Ayu, MC for today, signing off. Goodbye. Have a great day.